Well, we have everything that we need to get started on this refinish project today. A nice hot cup of coffee, a primed and ready guitar top here that we prepared in the last video, and of course a can of gold, shaken and ready to go. So today we have a lot of work ahead of us. The goal here is to spray a couple of coats of the gold on the primed guitar, let the coats dry in between, and then hopefully spray a clear coat, light clear coat, so then we can work on the binding and see if any of the binding needs to be scraped, take care of that, and then final coats of clear so that we can actually finish up the project and get that project done. Now, I don't know how far we're going to be going today. It's a lot of work, so we're going to try and go as far as we can. We're going to take this guitar into the spray booth, otherwise known as my shed, and get started on the gold and see how that turns out. So let's get started, guys. So here is our primed body ready to go, ready to receive the gold. I went ahead and sprayed some light mist coats of the gold over the primer, just enough to cover the paint so we don't see any white. You don't want to overdo it at this point. Slow and steady wins the race. I did, however, get a couple of little paint spatters just because I was tilting the can a little bit too much. That was my fault, but I'm going to leave those for now. I'm not going to mess with them. We'll let them dry and then reevaluate. Here you can see how the paint is still wet. It looks like there's a little bit of orange peel to it, but that's just because the paint has not dried yet. So I'm going to let it sit for about an hour and a half to 2 hours, then examine it under the sunlight. So here we go with the paint dry now. It's been about an hour and a half, looking pretty good, I must say. Even with just one coat, it's looking mighty fine. You can still see the paint spatters on the left there. So it's definitely going to require another coat of gold, and those are going to completely disappear after that. I'm not going to sand it or anything, just spray right over those and it should be fine. So we're going to do that and then evaluate whether or not we're ready for a sealer coat of clear before we actually start working on scraping the binding. Looking good so far. So this is coat number 2 of the gold. As you can see, I made the right decision. It's nicely covered the spatters that we were dealing with earlier. Those are gone. It's looking very good. I don't see much reason to go with another coat. It's covered it quite well, and I could pretty much start spraying clear at this point. I'm going to think about it and see whether or not I want to take the chance and spray one more coat of gold, but I'd be happy with just going with the clear at this point and saving myself some headache. So I decided to take the easy way out and just go with the clear at this point, just to seal in the gold. I thought it looked good enough as it is. And so I just sprayed a couple of coats of clear just to lock everything in, and I'll let that dry for a little while. I'm pretty happy with the overall color and the outcome at this point. However, when I was comparing it to my Edwards, the Edwards definitely has a richer gold color, and I think that is in part due to the clear coat that was sprayed over. So I'm going to try getting an aged or more of a yellow clear coat for this project and spray the rest of the clear coats in that to see if I can get the gold top to actually look a little bit richer. Well, guys, I don't know if I look tired to you, but it's been a full day of painting, and we basically distilled that down to a 6 or 7 minute video. At this point, I'm going to wait for the clear coat to dry properly. I'm going to give it at least 24 hours before I jump to the next step, which is to scrape the binding. Now, I did take precautions in the first video, and if you haven't already watched that video, the link is here or here. You can watch that first, but basically what I did is I did mask off the edge of the guitar with some painter's tape, so hopefully I did that well enough that I won't necessarily have to do much scraping. Scraping is very tricky. You don't want to overdo it because then you could scrape right into the part of the guitar that had color, and that's not going to look very good. So I have to be super careful when I do the next step. So in order to make sure I don't leave any nasty dings or marks in the guitar, I'm going to let it dry for at least 24 hours just so that the clear coat is hard enough to withstand the wear and tear of working on the binding. So I wanted to get the color a little bit richer in terms of the overall gold tone. So I reached out to my buddy Steve at Great Lakes Custom Color. He recommended that I go with an aged clear coat. So the clear I used till now has no color to it. He's gonna send me 2 additional cans of clear, one that is lightly aged and one that is heavily aged. And by using those clear coats over the top, we should be able to dial in the tone and really get it a little bit more richer looking, possibly a little bit closer to what I have on the Edwards guitar, which I think is gonna be extremely sexy looking. So a big shout out for all the support and help from the good people over at Great Lakes Custom Color on this project. I'm really excited about this project, guys. I hope you like what we're doing here so far. I enjoy sharing this information with you and hopefully encouraging somebody to tackle a project like this. And of course, it doesn't have to be gold. It could be other colors. And definitely reach out to the good folks over at Great Lake Custom Color because they have a whole bunch of different colors for all of your projects. And I'm looking forward to seeing this one done. So onward and upwards, the next video will showcase how I go about scraping the binding, and then there'll be more clear coating and then a whole bunch of buffing and sanding to make the guitar look shiny and glass-like. So it's a long process. It's actually been moving quite fast, probably one of the faster paint jobs I've ever done, just because I'm trying to share the information with you. Otherwise, it would take a lot longer. I would take more time, but I'm trying to move this ahead quicker so that I don't keep you guys in suspense. So that's it for part 2, guys. Stay tuned because part 3 will be coming up. If you want to be notified of that, please hit the bell icon, and hopefully by now you're subscribed to the channel because you know how good the videos are. They're always entertaining, and hopefully you get something out of it. All right, guys, that's it for now. See you soon back here on Addicted to Gear.